So this right here is a baby paradise gourami. This fish is about 2 weeks old, and this guy is extremely tiny. He's maybe about half the size of a grain of rice, and this fish, along with all his brothers and sisters, caught me completely off guard. Sure, about 2 weeks ago there was a bubble nest in this aquarium. However, my male paradise gourami, he's always creating these nests, and I thought that he was just practicing like normal. And yeah, before that I did have my female paradise gourami in this aquarium, but it was only for 2 days because I put her in the tank. The male was being super aggressive, so I took her out much sooner than I expected. And yeah, the main reason why I put the female in the aquarium is because these tanks are side by side, and they were just non-stop looking at each other, and I knew they wanted to do something. And yeah, these two tanks are side by side. These are my no-tech aquariums. You know, I have my original doing awesome in this room, and then I have my second one that was in a different room. It wasn't doing so great. I wanted to do just as good as the first one, so I said why not put it in the same conditions as the first one. And so now I have a dual no-tech system. No filters, no lights, nothing but nature. But yeah, this guy is extremely tiny, and now I have about 20 of them. Hey everyone, this is DWS Darius, and right now you're looking at my no-tech system. So you already know that this was my no-tech 20-gallon aquarium, an aquarium that doesn't have any filter. It relies on natural light, and there's no fertilizers or CO2, just balance, and it's been doing awesome. And you know, I created the second one, which was in a different room, and I figured if I want the same benefits or the same outcome that I'm getting in this aquarium, I gotta replicate the same environment. And in this room, we have a bunch of windows, a bunch of natural light, and that is the key for all of this growth, which is the reason why I'm able to keep the fish that I have in this aquarium. In this tank, I have a paradise gourami. You can see she's back there. That is my female. And then I have some cherry shrimp in here. Not cherry shrimp, cherry barbs. And if I shake my finger around, you see the male, nice and colorful, and I have 3 females. So because I have so many plants, the plants provide CO2. They also remove some of the waste produced by the fish, and I have a nice ecosystem. I wanted the same thing, so I needed the same amount of light to get the same amount of growth, which will in turn give me the same amount of filtration so that I can have more fish. So yeah, I put this tank side by side with my original, and it's pretty much the same concept. You just want a nice balance of plants. You want terrestrial plants because these are the plants that grow the fastest, and thus they remove the most waste. So we have bacopa right here, we have some pothos back there, lucky bamboo, and then we have this right here, which is my favorite. This is the peace lily, and this one hopefully will get the biggest and it will flower, so that's going to be pretty cool. Under the water we have Java fern, because a lot of this is not dirted. With this aquarium, the entire substrate is covered with dirt and then gravel on top of it. And this tank, only this right side has dirt, and that's because of the other room that this aquarium was in. Only that right side was getting light. But yeah, that side has dirt, this side is gravel, so I have a lot of Java fern on this side. And then over there, I have my plants that can feed on the soil or within the soil. Plants like jungle val and dwarf sage, and it's been in this room for about a month, and the growth is really starting to kick up. These guys are loving the light, and just a lot of awesome growth, nice roots and everything. And yeah, pretty soon this thing will look nice and lush like that bad boy. Now, in my last fish room tour, I told you guys that I was worried that the algae was going to get out of control because warm summers with more light just is a recipe for algae. So I went and I bought me some nerite snails, and now I have a total of 10 nerite snails in each aquarium, and these guys are champions. This tank was covered with algae. It was algae everywhere, and these nerite snails cleaned it up 2 days within being in this aquarium. So they definitely are perfect algae eaters. They're not consuming so much oxygen within the water, and yet they're doing a decent job cleaning up these tanks. So I have 10 in this aquarium, 10 in that aquarium, and they're my cleanup crew. Now the main fish in this aquarium is my male paradise gourami, and with these no-tech tanks I always go to paradise gourami because they're perfect for these aquariums with no heaters. In the winter, the tank temperature could drop to about 65 degrees Fahrenheit, and you want something that's able to tolerate warm summer temps and cold winter temps, and these are definitely a great option. On top of that, if there's ever not enough oxygen within the water, like on hot days, these paradise gourami could go and take oxygen directly from the surface. So it really makes them the best option for this type of aquarium. So yeah, I have my male in there. You can see over here my female looking at him. And this is pretty much how everything got started. I put the two tanks together, and immediately the male was just non-stop looking into this aquarium. The female, she was on this side looking into that aquarium, and I decided, let me just put them together and see what happens. Now, as I told you guys, I put the female in the tank, and 2 days later I ended up removing her, and that's because the male was non-stop attacking her. Look at him trying to attack her to the glass. But yeah, he was non-stop attacking her. She was hiding in the corner, and little did I know that during those 2 days she spawned. Now there was a bubble net. However, this male, like I told you guys, he was just making bubble nets for fun. Even when this aquarium was in a different room and he had no idea there was a female in this other aquarium, he was still making bubble nets. So I didn't think much of it. And then out of nowhere, we get these little tiny things moving at the top of the water. And sure enough, they were baby fish. And here we are 2 weeks later, and we have about 20 to 30 of these babies all over the tank. Now at the moment, I'm not using a lens that's good enough to look at small subjects, so even if there is a baby right in front of us, we won't be able to see it. However, they're everywhere, and I'm noticing that they're spending a lot of time on the substrate and the plants and everything, and it's just their natural way of trying to stay safe and camouflage. I did read that it's important to take out the parents because the parents would eat the babies. However, that's not the case with the male because he's actually over here. You see him right there? He's defending the babies from the female, from the cherry barb over there. Whenever a fish comes to this side of the tank, the male actually tries to attack them. So the male is actually being a good parent. Maybe that's the reason why he was attacking the female originally. Maybe she's the one that would have ate them. But so far, the male is actually being a good father. I even saw one time when they were very young, you had some wandering over. This is when a nest was still in the tank. They were wandering from the nest, and he would go put them in his mouth and bring them back to the nest. So he's actually over here being a good parent. I guess maybe as the babies get older and they start to be competition, he may try to kill them. But as of now, he's doing a pretty decent job. And yeah, they're everywhere. And one of the things I was struggling with was just trying to figure out what to feed these fish. Because these guys, like I said, are absolutely tiny. Right now, they're about half the size of a grain of rice. And before that, they were much smaller than that. So these guys are extremely tiny. And what I'm doing for food is I have my fish food, regular fish food. This is Hikari food sticks. This is a little bit more carnivorous than what these fish may eat in the wild. However, it's all I got right now. So I take the dust at the bottom and I sprinkle it in the tank and it comes down like a little dusty rain. And I actually see the babies going after it. So that's a good sign that they are eating. And yeah, we're just going to have to take this one day at a time because I wasn't expecting these babies to come out. I took the female out. And the goal was to eventually try again once the tank gets more established, once I get more plants. So yeah, the babies came by surprise. And yeah, hopefully I could get these guys to full adult life. So there's actually one right in front of the glass. Now, while all that's happening in that aquarium, we come next door and we have my cherry barbs trying to reproduce. We have my male, the bright red fish swimming around. And this is pretty much his tank. I don't know how a cherry barb was able to conquer this aquarium, but this is the most dominant fish in the tank. This cherry barb is above my female gourami, and she's about twice its size. But I'm not complaining. I love his bright color. He actually, look at him. He's actually trying to eat some of the baby gourami through the tank. It actually looks like sometimes he likes to taunt the male paradise gourami. You see him swimming and showing off in front of the male. But he has a decent character. He is a little bit tough on the females. And that's the reason why the females have to hide a lot, because he's always trying to get them pregnant. But if he does get them pregnant, well, they don't really get pregnant. They lay eggs. But if they do lay eggs, I do think it will be successful because in this aquarium, it's so dense. They have a ton of hiding spots. Look at them. The cherry barb is swimming around looking for females. He owns this tank. And that's funny because I never expected a cherry barb to be a tank boss. But yeah, just absolute life and nature in these aquariums. And again, we have no filters. The only light that we have is the sun. The only filtration that we have is from plants. And this tank is doing epic. But yeah, everyone, that was just a quick look at my no-tech setups. Very simple and very rewarding. And yeah, just wanted to give you guys a look at what's going on. There's a lot going on in a fish room with all my fish. Some good, some bad. And I'll be updating you in the days to come. But yeah, thank everybody who's been subscribing to the channel. I do notice everybody who subscribes, and I definitely appreciate it. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.